is loose, and that's true. Don't let me let them wolves through like it's a full moon. It's like I transform the booth to a war room. Come up with a strategy, maximizing your casualties. Courage of King David, battling like the Maccabees. Find out who you think that nigga walks to him casually. Then proceed to bar his life away rapidly. Take a knee for your majesty, take it they hate it savagely. I try leaving rap alone, but I guess that this had to be. Keep you grounded like gravity. In the ville, but it's amity. Horror, I see calamity. Scar you up with my family. Mumble rappers be mad at me. Fuck them up in they faculty. They words sweet, sit in they mouth and causing cavities. Yeah, it's a war. None of you suckers worry.
It's a war going on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside. I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside. So in the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, your planner be on outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside. I get it on outside.
We put a tidal wave of emotion upon the back burner. Coming up in this truth, you suffer like a Nat Turner. Terrence Crutcher ain't the first or the last of the black murders. Anybody trying to water you down, they lack the fervor. This the school of the hard knocks. We hard rock, come with that smooth talk slick. You get your heart operated on your mind. Is what the Christian church made it on all the lies. And that white man you keep waiting on to fall out of the sky. Nothing but watery eyes and the gnashing of your teeth. We keep this brotherhood strong. Contort a bottle with the priest. We turn the drama into peace, but keep a lookout at the cookout. Anybody got a problem? No, we quick to bring the book out. As the fisher of men, I'm trained to always have my hook out. We them rebels you heard about. Same hands I have you took out. 144,000 saints that Christ done took out. We wasn't straight, so we got the crooks out. It's going down. You ain't gotta be from around. Just a member of the family. Religionity, it's just a white man's fantasy to keep us out the land through the vanity of our eyes. You can't deny the devil being a lie and a terrorist. So GPK is real as it gets, the realest it's ever been. Every trooper is evidence. The officers, weapon specialists, the captains of chariots, the generals dropping jewels on you Judas Iscariot. Repent, motherfucker. In the world I wasn't Cupid. The truth made me ruthless. Used to fear death, now I don't give two shits. Bloody knuckles, two fists. Rather have my boots kissed. Cook these heathens up like a steak out of Ruth's Chris. Straight out the nooses. They knowin' how we do in the morning.
Shalom, 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 Israel. What's going on? Let's clap it up. Clap it up, y'all. Isupkbmore coming out of Baltimore, man. We ready to get it in tonight, man.
Right.
Disgusting things going on out here, man. With that, got that Trump laws, them races, all up in arms about a goddamn election, man. And they gonna come back at the 12 tribes with their revenge, man. They gonna come back at the 12 tribes with murder and barbarism and mayhem, man. You better believe it. You better believe it. Trump ran on a pedestal of racism, man. Now, Donald Trump is just strictly a crook, is what he is. He's a damn crook. But that didn't matter to white folks. It really didn't. They voted for him and stood behind him no matter what ridiculous thing he did, simply because of their racism. The prominence of their racism, man, was number one on their mind. And because Trump hated Mexicans, Trump hated Negroes, Trump hated Native Indians, they went along with it, man. Hook, line, and sinker. The only thing I think that probably killed it is because so many people was dying of the COVID. And there wasn't any work being done on that front. But check this out. There's a brother named Quawan Charles. And his brother was violently and brutally murdered. Quawan. Come on. With the Q. Quawan with the Q. Not with the K, like my name. With the Q. Quawan. Oh, Salakia. Quawan. Salakia, I'm old. Quawan. Not Quawan, but Quawan. As in Quawan. All right, Quawan. So, the brother was violently and brutally murdered, man, and mainstream America is not talking about it. It's not on mainstream news. Right. They really tried to push over this because it's so blatantly violent and racist, man. When you had this young child, man, he's a child, a pre-teenager, right, that was picked up by his friends, his white friend, and his mother. They say the father was with them too. And then the father and the mother went and told the parents that he was gone, something happened, he ran away, left, and then they found him 3 days later. Autopsy saying that he drowned while his face is beaten to a pulp. His face beaten so bad that his teeth on the side of his gums are showing. You understand? But we so worried about voting and Trump being out of office. Right. Before we get this picture, let's get Psalms 2 and 2. Come on. Let's get Psalms 2 and 2. We're gonna break down a little bit about the things we do and how vain they actually are. How vain it is for us to vote while we being killed and slaughtered. Right. How vain it is, how stupid it is for us to worry about who's running the United States of America. How ridiculous that is, that we worry about Trump embarrassing us. You ask black people, why you want Trump out of office? What Trump do? He embarrasses us. Yeah. They call him an orangutan, that orange, whatever. He embarrassing us with the stupid things he said. He's embarrassing us. He's embarrassing black people. We don't get the spoils of America. He's embarrassing us. Why are you worrying about the reputation of America? Damn right. The reputation of America is already in the trash, as far as I'm concerned. How about we take America to the United Nations and charge them for putting so much dope in black communities? Right. For the chemical warfare that they deal out in black communities. How about we do that instead of vain voting, man? How about we go to the United Nations and ask them, how can it be so much dope in black communities when black people don't own transportation or warehousing corporations or industries? How in the hell can it be so much dope, man, in black communities? Black people ain't doing it. That's chemical warfare. That is a war crime. There needs to be a special tribune to find out why in the hell is so much dope in black people's neighborhood. But we worried about Donald Trump and him embarrassing America. We worried about going to the voting booth and exercising our so-called right to vote. That's right. You got that, bro?
Come on. Mm-hmm. This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
Do one.
Come. This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Mm-hmm. Why do the heathen rage?
Why do the heathen rage? Why the hell these heathens raging, man? Why do we get our neck stepped on for 8 minutes, 5 minutes? Why are we in our houses, sitting in our own damn house eating ice cream and being murdered by white police officers? Why do we have to endure our sons being stopped by a police officer for a traffic stop and being murdered? Why do we have to hear about Philip Castillo, who was a registered gun owner, sitting in his car, complying to everything a police officer said, yet still he is to be murdered in front of his wife and his child, man? Why are these heathens raging at us? We helped them forge an empire, and they left us broken. Why are they raging, man? Read on, brother.
Come. Verse 2, Shalaki. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
And the people imagine a vain thing, man. Why do we worry about going to a booth to vote when our children are being murdered in the street? When dope is being put in our community? When these white police officers are brutalizing us? When we being sent to jail for nonviolent crimes, doing more time than white people who do violent crimes? Why are we suffering so, but we worrying about going to that booth and pulling a damn lever? We worrying about if the vice president got brown skin. She got some black in her. It's awful, man. And these scriptures, man, are so deep and heavy because it tells you why. It tells you why right here in the song, man. Why is the heathen raging, and why do we imagine vain things, things that don't benefit us? We out here, we want social integration. We need something tangible, man. Something tangible. Something that can feed our children. But we worry about things that don't benefit us at all. Read on, brother.
Come. Verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
Good night. They take counsel together. Democrats and Republicans are two heads of the same damn snake, man. When we gonna get it? When we gonna get it? Like, life is not different under a Democrat than it would be under a Republican.
Right.
It doesn't happen. I see the same ghettos. I see the exact same murder rate. I see the exact same drugs on the corner. I see the exact level of opportunity, the exact unemployment rate. You know that unemployment in every city where black people dwell is half, 50%, half of us working and half of us not. And they say America is the land of opportunity. Why is it 50% unemployment? Only with black people. We lazy, right? Shippers, right? Guess what? It doesn't fluctuate much. If it's a Republican, it's a Democrat, it doesn't fluctuate. Why? Because we're not controlled under those measures. Look, America thrives off the exploitation of black people. They thrive off of exploiting us. And then they give us vain things to occupy our minds. Like voting. You gotta vote. Vote or die.
Right.
If you vote, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. If you don't vote, don't complain. All I hear from black people is emotional propaganda. It's no real intellect involved when you're dealing with the subject of voting. It's all emotional because it's a vain thing. There is nothing intellectual about it. There's nothing tangible to be gained from it. Read some more.
Come. Verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed.
Against the Lord and against his anointed. That's why the heathen rage, man. Because we are the Lord's people. We are the Lord's chosen. The oppressor hates anything that is God. If God tell you not to be a homosexual, white man will say you were born a homosexual.
Right.
You understand that? If the Lord made our king black with woolly hair, not beautiful, not comely, the white man will say he was a beautiful, feminine white man. Everything that's against God, everything that's against nature.
Right.
You know why a killer whale has to be in an aquarium? It has to be exploited so its oppressor can make money and make gains. That's why. A killer whale roams thousands of miles of ocean, feeds on a variety of different prey. How evil is it to stick him in a goddamn aquarium for the entertainment of people? This is the person that we ask. These are the people that we asking for equality from. We're begging them for equality. We're begging them for love and acceptance. This people. There's a black giraffe. Very few ever born in Africa, black giraffes. White folks actually bid for the right to go and kill it. This is a black giraffe, a very extremely rare animal. They bid for the right to go and kill it. Because nothing beautiful, nothing natural, nothing that is alive can ever satisfy white greed. Everything that's against nature and against God. Who goes outside and burns in the sun, bro? Like, these are the people that we emulate. We covet them. We covet what we see. We covet the things. We covet the things that they have, the inventions that they created, the inventions of warfare, of death, some of beauty that entice us. We covet them, not understanding and realizing the evil that they do throughout the earth. Just read on.
Come. Verse 2.
You already read. Come down ahead.
I was just trying to bring it down.
Go ahead.
Come, son. Verse 3. Let us break their bands asunder.
Let us break their bands asunder. They've broken our social cohesiveness, our ability to come together, create businesses, and thrive and create cities. You know, black cities were so productive that the dollar bill went around 20 times. The white man has only been able to do around 8 times in any major city. But us, we had so much ingenuity, and the products that we created was so top notch. Look up the real McCoy. The real McCoy. You know, that's a saying that people say, I want the real McCoy. The real McCoy was a real man. He was a black man and he engineered lubricating parts that was so productive that even white folks said, I want the real McCoy. I'm not buying that unless it's the real McCoy. That's how much of a dynamic product that he created. Dynamic people that we are. That even in this slavery, we can produce things of that nature and move like we do is incredible, but we don't look at that. We don't look at that. We stand in fear because our bonds have been broken. We have no confidence in each other. It broke them bands. Them bands that hold me together with you as my brother. We've been calling each other brother and fam and my blood and my flesh since the beginning of time. Not time, but the beginning of mankind. We knew that you were the flesh of my flesh, and the blood of my blood, and the bone of my bone. They broke them bands, man, that held us together. They broke those bones, man. Now, we kill each other for their love and leave the most vulnerable amongst us to die in any way they deem necessary or any way they see fit. Go ahead.
I just want to bring out, like, we the only race of people that call each other brothers or sisters when we see each other. You know what I mean? Like, even like we the only people that do that. Like, no other nation does that. But they say, "What's up, bruh?" Or "What's up, sis? How you doing, sister?" Like, no other nation do that. Like, we the only one. It's in us. It's in our body, like in our souls, to do that. We understand
a lot of
that.
nations emulate us.
Come on.
You know, what's up, dude? What's up, yo? But it's phony. It's plastic. Right? It's just an emulation.
Just to add to what Alizar is saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
It go even beyond, brother and sister. Like we say we say ma, we say to people like we don't even know. We just because you're an older black woman, I'm gonna call you mom. Because you're an older brother, I'm gonna call you aunt. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's Israelites do that. Israelites do that all the time.
Come. That is, you're my flesh. You're my family. You're what I depend on. You're what saves me. And we work this together. Love is the way, but not the love of other nations. The love of us, the love of God. That's the way. That's the route. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
Come. Verse 3. Verse 3, the rest of verse 3. And cast away their cords from us. Let me start from the top, sir.
No, you good. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh.
Look, and cast away our cords from us, man. Brotherhood is far away from us. The only place that teaches true brotherhood is in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge.
Right.
The only place. Because the actual spirit of brotherhood is no way a Christian could understand or know that.
Right.
And there's no way that your preacher is going to teach you that. Why? Because he learned at their seminary schools. He learned in their colleges and their institutions.
Right.
Christianity is white supremacy. It was created to be that. It's a religion built upon white dominance. That's why you have a white God. And a white God manifested in the flesh, as they say. All of these images are of white people because they lifted themselves up as God, which is a sin in itself. It's disgusting. When clearly the Bible describes our King and the Most High as being black.
Right.
Black in spirit, in nature, and in reality. These are crimes that they've committed against us. Crimes. Read on.
Come. Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in diversion.
The Lord shall have a diversion. Read that over again.
Come. Verse 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in diversion.
In diversions. The Lord shall have them in diversions. Look, we've sinned so much against the Lord, man. He's turned his back on us. You know what? He doesn't delight in our suffering. It's more as I told you so. I told you. We have to be punished for the things that we do. We know that homosexuality is wrong. We know selling drugs to each other is wrong. However lamented our minds may be, and they have put this in our culture, you understand? It's understandable to want to escape reality and be on drugs and escape oppression, but we know it's wrong. We know it's wrong. We know it's wrong for a man to be on top of another man, for a man to grow breasts, for a woman to wear an appendage in her pants all day, to be a predator to other women. These are things we know that are wrong. Without even picking up the Bible, we know it's wrong to do these things, man. But we do them and we sever ourselves from our Lord and our power. And once we do that, he's pretty much given us up to these vile things that we want to be in this earth. And we are now susceptible to punishments. And that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening, man. Our children are being slaughtered. Our communities have no opportunity for our children. You know what that means? Our communities don't work for our children. Meaning the community do not support the children. The children do not support the community. They destroy the community. That's why there's murders. That's why there's drugs. Well, why wasn't all of that in play when it was segregation? We'll get back to that later. Read the rest of that.
Come on. Verse 5. Then shall he speak unto them.
He has us in divergence to each other, man. One brother going this way, one brother going that way, one brother in the Christianity, one brother over here doing this, and we can never come together and be on one accord in order to rise up in strength. These are curses, man. These are curses. We're always in divergence as a divide with one another, man. Going this way, going that way. And none of us go towards the Lord besides the men of the ISUPK.
All right,
the family of the ISUPK.
Right.
You understand? What will happen if we serve the Lord and choose the Lord instead of choosing a lever for the least racist white man? What would happen then? The opposite of what we're talking about in the scriptures right here. Read on.
Come on. Verse 5. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath.
Then shall he speak unto us in his wrath. This is his wrath. This is what the hell is happening. Now let's get to Quawan Charles. Let me get his picture up there.
Come on.
Let me get Quawan Charles' picture up there. Look on that. Move over a little bit. The Wallace was stopping by, Cat. Safe getting home. Shalom, stop. All right, we're gonna get Quawan Charles' picture up there. And we're gonna go through his story real quick. Anybody have any questions? Give us a call live. We're going to answer your questions live. Type it in the text in the chat. We're going to answer the questions, all right? Now, you can get that first tab up there. Get that first tab up. And,
First one.
We can go ahead and rock it from there. Let me know when you got it up there.
Come on.
click on that first eye.
The first one, right?
Click on the eye,
Come.
right.
There we go.
Got it over there to come on up. And we can see what's going on with the brother. Now we talking about Quawan Charles, man. His brother was murdered so brutally, a teenager, man, murdered so brutally. And what pisses me off about it so badly is, am I right with the?
Come on, you good. Hold up, slide. Move a little bit this way. To what?
What ticks me off about this so badly is that this happened before. You understand? This happened to a brother before that was supposedly whistled at a white woman. He supposedly had whistled at this white woman. Later on the night, they came to the brother's house. I think he was staying up down south. I think his mother is from the north, but they went to the brother's house, picked him up. I don't see it up there. You show a picture up there?
It's up here.
You gotta put it on. You gotta put it over to the left side. If it ain't on the left side, it's not gonna show up on the lead.
It's on both sides.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Anything that's not on the left side is not gonna show up on the picture.
Okay.
So to take it down, you would hit the eye, and then it will go off on there, and then you put it over on the left-hand side, and it'll be gone.
Okay.
All right, so we got the brother Quawan Charles up with Emmett Till. Same thing happened to Emmett Till. Now they went to Emmett Till's house, pulled him out of his house, and beat him to a pulp, tied some type of fan or ventilator around his neck, and then dumped him in the river, man. And his face was so disfigured, and we gonna show it to you right here. It's the second one over here. We're gonna show it to you right there. Emmett Till was that real gruesome, disfigured. You know, that brother is a young young black teenager, man, and so gruesomely disfigured that it's just disheartening, man. You understand? And this happened years ago, 50 years ago. But this brother, Quawan Charles, this just happened to you, man. How something that happened a half a century ago still happened, but black people will swear that we've made leaps and bounds in this country. How the hell is that possible? In the case of Emmett Till, who was the first brother, nobody was convicted of anything. Nobody went to jail. Nobody was, I think a white man was charged. But the defense attorney said one thing. He said, if you convict this man of murder, our ancestors will turn over in the grave. Every one of those white jurors came back with not guilty. No one ever faced any justice in the case of Emmett Till. And the same thing is happening in the case of Quawan Charles. Let's get that second tab, bro. All right. All you gotta do is click on the second tab over there.
It should be on it, sir.
Yeah, it's coming up. All right, now, this is how the young brother looked. This is how the brother looked after his white friend and his mother came and picked him up from school, absent permission to do so. 3 days later, they find the brother And this is his autopsy picture, man. Man, we didn't already gone through how vile these people actually are. But we befriend them in the hopes and the belief that we can show them who we are and they'll love us. In the hopes and the prayer and the beliefs that they'll then start treating us differently. And it goes deeper than that. We don't care about every black person, our race, our community, our people. Just see me as being different from them other Negroes. My credit score better. My credit score a little bit better. See, we don't do anything as a group and out of love. We read it in songs. How they severed our bands, man. Our bonds of brotherhood. Our concern. Our feeling towards one another, man. How that was severed and put away. See, we just think about our own self-interest and not the self-interest of our community. Without your community, you'll never be safe and you'll never have peace. Black individuals. There are no black individuals. There's a black family. Without your family, you have no protection. Tell you something. The more rich ball players, even more vulnerable. Even more vulnerable. Even more susceptible to racism. Oprah Winfrey was out in Paris. Somebody that didn't know her say, she out there get ready to buy a pocketbook that costs $10,000, $50,000. The woman say, you can't afford this. Don't come over here. Ready to call the police on her. Oprah Winfrey, who's a billionaire. Why? Because she never thought to bring her people with her. She never thought to have an entourage of her people. She never thought that. She thinks to be protected by white society, who only uses her for the time being until they no longer need her. We're going to get the story about the brother Quawan. You understand? And keep Psalms 2 and that whole chapter in mind. We're going to go back to it, man, because it's so deep. And what's being said here, and these punishments that we got to suffer, look at this young brother. Look at him. This young brother is like that because of the course that we went down. We want social justice. We want the love and the love and admiration of white people. How about respect? How about I know if I touch a black child, the whole goddamn country gonna be in an uproar. The whole country gonna want justice. Right. Not for a day, not for a day, but until it's got. But that's been settled. Let's get the story of Quawan Charles. Read some of that, brother.
On the evening of October 30th, Quawan Charles was last seen leaving a family home in Baldwin, Louisiana.
Baldwin, Louisiana. Leaving a family home. Go ahead.
According to the family GoFundMe account, Charles was picked up from his father's house by a friend and his friend's mom.
By a friend and his friend's mom. These were the white folks. Because of the trust that we place in these people. Read on.
The Liberia Parish Sheriff Office said in statements the boy's body was found around 5 p.m. on November 2nd in a rural area off Ed Browser Road near the village of LaRueville. The sheriff's office confirmed the minor had been reported missing to the Baldwin Police Department on October 30th, but did not release the young boy name because of his status as a minor.
They didn't release his name for the status of a minor. Now I don't even think they put out an Amber Alert for this child, man. I don't think they put out an Amber Alert. But it wasn't hard to find. And it's definitely not hard to investigate who were the last people he was with.
Right.
They found him beaten half to death. Any idiot can look at the body and see that it was beaten.
Right.
This is not a mistake, a fall, a drowning. He was beaten and murdered. So, of course, now the cover-up comes. Read on.
Results of an autopsy are pending as the investigation continues. The release said the family claims the parish of St. Mary refuses to release the findings of the autopsy in response.
Could not refuses to release the findings of the autopsy. Clearly, this child was beaten to death. Imagine if a white child was beaten to death and the last people to be in her presence were a black child and a black woman. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what would be happening right now? Read on.
In response, the family is attempting to raise funds needed to conduct a second autopsy before his funeral. An individual autopsy needs to be conducted before November 12th to ensure that all findings by the medical examiner can come back conclusive. The family asks that you give what you can during this difficult time.
Now here the family is in a difficult bind. Why? Because we have no power. No way to come up against these people because we begged them for their love. And they've shot us down for centuries. We still begging them for social acceptance. There's nothing tangible with social acceptance. There is no property, no profit, no resources. There's only an emotion. I'm like you. Love me like you love you. I can't buy a loaf of bread with that.
Right.
I can't save my son's life with that. It's in vain. Remember Psalms 2:2. It's in vain. We give all our fear to white supremacy. We fear them and we don't fear the Lord. We give all of our trust and our hope, our yearning to white supremacy. We give none of it to the Lord. We have so much faith in white America that every 4 years, nothing ever changes for the past century, but we still go vote. We have that much faith. Imagine if we had a third of that much faith in Christ. Good night. Go ahead, read on, bro.
Come. Many believe Quawan Charles was lynched, just like Emmett Till was back in 1955.
He was what?
Lynched.
He was lynched. That's exactly what he was. It's not a belief. He was lynched. Things are better now, right? Lynching happened years ago. That's in the past. Isn't that what they say?
Gone.
That was in the past.
Right.
What you mad about? Something that happened in the past? Look how far we came. You got Jay-Z. You got Oprah. You got Michael Jackson. Oh, he got murdered. He got lynched too. And he was rich, right? This brother, this teenager, this child was lynched. The family has no power at all. So now we come together, we try to come together, try to bring our meager resources together, which is beautiful, no matter how small, how large it is. It's always beautiful for brethren to come together in brotherhood. The Bible says that. It's always beautiful. But we're never proactive. We're never proactive. We always try to come together in tragedy. When the tragedy happens, that's when the plan is supposed to happen. You ain't supposed to try to organize nothing in tragedy.
Right.
Because that's when everything going down. That's why we're non-effective. That's why we're not effective. And that's why it's going to be next to impossible to get justice for this brother. Read on.
Con. Many believe Charles was Slotty. The picture that was released to the public looks like a modern day lynching. Attorney Ron Haley, Charles Chuchel, and Derek Moore have been hired to represent the family of 15-year-old Quawan Charles, whose body was found whose brutalized body was found in a cane field.
His brutalized body was found in a cave field. If I was investigating this crime, would I not go back to the last people that were seen with him?
Right.
You were seen picking this black child up. What happened between you picking this black child up and us finding him face down in a cane field with half his face beat off? But they got to investigate. Everything got to wait for the investigation. We got to be patient. If it was the other way around, them parents would have been locked up. They would have been locked up already. Probably already convicted and sitting in the damn chair.
Damn right.
We got to get over this. We can get justice in the law system, and we got to go along with the system and let the system. The system is what the hell is. The system is what is doing this to us.
Right.
They wrote the system to destroy us in this way. I'm tired of tragedy. I don't know about everybody else. Tired of tragedy. Oh, go ahead.
It's like, sir, and I can't help but think, man, you can only blame our black leaders.
Right.
Because they teach us that we gotta love them, we gotta respect them. And by us doing that, that's damn near a death penalty offense for our children.
Right.
You absolutely right. That vile, disgusting preacher who told them to come in and save this neighborhood because there's so much crack and robbery going on in here. Come in and save the neighborhood. That black preacher was instrumental in destroying black community.
Right.
He is instrumental.
Right.
Them preachers' hands got so much blood on it. It's ridiculous, man. As if we were something to be sold and bought it off, man. They look at us as their personal goddamn piggy bank to sell us off like a damn bunch of prostitutes, man. You watch how they prostrate themselves in front of Joe Biden. You wait. Have they done it yet, Matazabah? You gonna see it. The TJ, the Jakes, and the Creflo Dollars, they gonna all be up in his office prostrating themselves, trying to get a social system going on where the government can funnel money in and they can funnel it out the back door. That's what they all about. They don't give a damn about the prosperity of black people. And them white leaders are more than happy to go along with creating a social program to try to help black people while the preacher funneling and taking all the damn money so they can come back and say, we put $5, $6, $7, $8 million into this project to help black people. See? The only one that gets help is that disgusting preacher, man. Like they have a template of book that white supremacists go along with to go to the preacher because the preacher is the one to smooth things over with the black community.
Right.
If you deal with the preacher, if you pay the preacher, he'll smooth everything over with the black community and you'll be able to operate any kind of evil you need to operate.
Right.
Margaret Sanger brought that out. God damn, it's in her speech. We need to go. The preacher is the answer. Right. We go to the preacher. We radicalize the preacher. So the preacher will preach our message in the pulpit. Mm-hmm. He's already preaching white supremacy. So that we can genocide you and you won't believe it's genocide because your preacher is telling you that it ain't genocide, it's something good. The system wasn't built for a lot of black babies to be put into it. So you're doing all of us a favor to kill your baby, black woman. That's the devil turning your preacher, well, your preacher, he's already fell to white supremacy and devil worship already. He worships the devil already. So he's going to tell you whatever message the devil wants to give you. Homosexuality is clearly a sin in the Bible, but he tells you it's right. And will even marry you with the Bible in his hand. In his hand. You're so right. Any more to that story out?
Nah, that's just
Look what has happened to that brother. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you straight up why. White folks are going to bring out a flurry of anger upon the Lord's people. Because in their mind, and it's being flooded and pushed throughout the news channels and stations that black people came to the rescue of Joe Biden. That it was black people who won this election for Joe Biden, which is an absolute goddamn lie. Right. Black people only 13% of the damn populace. White people 80-some% of the populace. There is no way that black people could garner enough votes to save a presidential election one way or the other. Your vote truly does not count. But in all of this propaganda, they're going to put that out like that. Like it was the big inner cities that saved Joe Biden. What this does, like the oppressor and his community are very serious about their racism. They don't care about your affliction. They don't care how you got that way. You can listen to the speech that Joe Biden gave in 1994. Pull up that speech if you can. 1994 Congress speech, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, 1994 speech on crime bill. 1994 crime bill, Joe Biden speech. Check that in.
Got a video for that too, actually. So
you got a video? Let's see the video. See if you can load that up. You can take that.
What's that? Actually, it's him speaking on what he.
Right.
Okay. Come on.
That's what I'm looking for. You can take that down. Quawan. I think they've seen enough of the brother. How the brother was destroyed and murdered. In that way, man. Absolutely disgusting. You know, to hit the eye and bring it over, right?
Come on.
All right. And I really want to get back to songs. I want to hold songs. I want to get back to that. All right. But real quick, loading that up. Matazabah, give me Lamentations 4:17. Real quick. While you trying to get that loaded up. Don't show it while you loading it up.
Come on,
Take it down. Right? If it's over on the left side, that's what you see. That's what we seeing on the screen. Put it over on the right side. And then we won't be seeing it. Till you get it loaded up, then you can put it over there. Just take all of that down right.
Ready for that, sir?
Come.
Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help.
Our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. Meaning our eyes have yet to fail. Every 4 years we done had a so-called black president. Our eyes have yet to fail for looking for things that don't benefit us. Read on.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time.
We covet what we see. So we're watching the technological advancement and the prosperity and the profits of this
Bobby
nation,
Rush, remember?
not understanding that the prosperity of this nation is connected to exploiting your nation. We don't understand that. We're looking at the prosperity and not how the prosperity was collected and created. Our own afflictions are directly linked to the prosperity of America. America prospered because of slavery. America prospered because of mass incarceration and police brutality. America prospers from privatization.
Another thing about how
America prospers from all of this. But we, in our vain watching, we ain't had enough yet of being brutalized and beaten and our children murdered. We ain't had enough yet. Emmett Till didn't hit the itch. Emmett Till didn't scratch the surface. So we had to have a Quawan Charles. Who's next? We had enough yet? Look at the brother autopsy. Clearly murdered, but nobody being arrested. Look at the circumstances of what happened with the brother. Nobody being arrested. Nobody being charged. Look at the context of what happened. Another race of people come pick your children up. You let them go. They murdered, found 3 days later. Imagine if that happened to a Chinese baby. Real.
Verse 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets.
They hunt us, man. They hunt us. Quawan shouldn't have went in the damn street. Quawan shouldn't have came out the damn house. They murdered him so grievously, man. His teeth can be seen on his autopsy with his mouth closed. That don't mean nothing to y'all? That don't mean nothing, fam? Real.
Our end is near.
Our end is here. God damn. It's the end when these children can be murdered this way. He's not, look, let me tell you something. It's been lynchings going on down the South the entire time since that first brother Emmett Till was murdered. They've been putting them away saying they suicides. What black person is going to hang themselves on a damn tree and beat themselves damn near to death before they hang themselves?
Right.
Right.
Go ahead, Doc.
So like a few years back, it was a story about a brother. They found him in the I don't know if it was under the bleachers or under the mat. They stuffed his body.
Rolled up in the mat.
Stuffed his body with newspaper or something like that. You feel me? After they killed him.
Took his organs and stuffed them with newspaper.
Okay.
And they still ain't charged nobody in the brother's murder. Rolled up in a mat. Rolled up in a mat. They said the brother lost his tennis and tried to go down in the mat and get his tennis, and he got stuck in there. Like, they think that we are dummies, idiots. Brothers still ain't got justice to this day. What is his name? Lamar Kendrick? Kendrick, I think it was Kendrick. Or Lamar. Get the name. We can give out the correct name for that. You got that video loaded up?
Come.
All right, go ahead and try to play that video. See if we can play that video of the crime bill that Biden wrote. And he talks about the crime bill. He talks about us and our children as being predators. And he says some very important things in that crime bill. He says it doesn't matter that we created them because he knows that over-policing, police brutality, and privatized prisons was the reason behind the police going out there so aggressively trying to find criminals. A police job in a righteous society would never be to go and find criminals to the point that you're making criminals. But in order to deter criminality, they go and hunt us in our streets because they have quotas. If you have a quota to meet as a police officer, you want to get promoted. So you have to meet and surpass that quota in order to get the bonuses and to move forward in your particular profession. Kamala Harris understands this. Kamala Harris put, the percentage is ridiculous, of black men in prison that were actually innocent. The Innocence Program went back. Kamala Harris prosecuted every black man, woman, child, baby she could find. Could not. You found it? You good? Can you play it?
Come.
Go ahead and play it.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the '94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
And by the way, we talk about this mostly in terms of Black Lives Matter. Black lives really do matter. But the problem is to...
Ashamed of voting for that crime bill that he created.
He said he's not ashamed.
Yeah, he said he's not ashamed.
Oh, he said he's not ashamed.
Come.
He said he's not. Okay, this isn't actually him speaking on the Senate floor. It's another video, but I should have found it for you. But he's saying he's not ashamed of all the innocent black men that were put in prison. Look, they made all of these war on drug programs in order to try to say they was fixing black communities. But we know today that all of the communities that they put this aggressive policing in are the worst communities today, filled with drugs and crime. Put so much resources into locking everybody up, but they're still the worst neighborhoods to this day. Why? Because those type of tactics never work. Those type of tactics were not even for stopping criminality. They were for creating criminality. When you remove people out of their homes, let's get a scenario. He's growing up in a black community. As we just discussed, the community does not work for him. He can't go around to the supermarket and say, "Brother, give me a job. Let me make a quick $10 an hour so I can support myself through school, because my mother on drugs. She ain't doing too well. Help me out, brother. Let me come sweep up. Let me stock the shelves. And I'm gonna do that. Let me move up between." We don't own any of the businesses out there. Chinese people are not gonna give us jobs unless it benefits them threefold. They're not gonna give our children jobs. They're not gonna do it. You understand? So that child is the only steps that he have to take is, my homeboy said he gonna give me a package. All I gotta do is this, and I can make a little bit of money to pay the rent because we get ready to get put out. He gets caught up. It's his first offense. He runs into Kamala Harris. She's going to prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. He's 16, ain't never been locked up before. He made a mistake because he doesn't have any opportunity and anywhere to turn because his community does not work for him. It works for Chinese people because they hire their children to come into our neighborhoods and serve us and make money. You understand? So this black child has to resort to going in the streets and selling drugs, and now he's locked up. He's locked up for his sophomore, junior, he's locked up for his junior and senior year in high school. You think he's going back to school? No. He now can't get a job because he got arrested. What the hell you think he gonna do? He's gonna be in and out of jail for the rest of his life. And with aggressive policing, he's walking down the street with a bag of weed on him. They locked him up. He done did 3 years. He got 3 more on probation. You just created a lifetime criminal out of a child who made a simple mistake. But in the white community, of course, their community works for them. If that child get arrested for making a mistake, he goes into rehab. He gets support from the community. He learns how to live. But our children go to prison and do hard time. And either become a homosexual, destroy, become a predator to other people, join the Christian church and predatorize everybody damn children, or continue to sell drugs, be hyper-masculine, end up murdering somebody, man. That's how it works in black communities. Because we wanted social integration. Social integration ain't going to change that child's trajectory in life. We are the only ones that can possibly have any empathy for a black teenager. To white people, Chinese people, Japanese people, he's a murderer from birth. Our children they look older than they actually are. They're stronger. They're more aggressive. They want them dead, man. And nobody gives a damn. What I'm saying is that if we don't give a damn about our own children, which is what exactly is happening, this is how we get the Quawan Charles. This is how we get Quawan Charles.
Right.
You want justice for Quawan Charles? Then know who your damn family is. Did you find the video? What you got up there? With that, when you load it up, have it on the other side. Don't like put it where it can be viewed. Just put it on the other side. Is this the video?
They got a better one where he's speaking the whole time. Like they got this lady talking, and then he come on there when he's doing the crime bill.
Okay, let's go ahead and play that.
This one right here, she's also giving commentary on it though. You give me a second, I got one where he's talking for like 3 minutes on that. So at the actual spot where and for Congress and whatnot.
Good.
All right, give me 1 second. I got.
Come on. Go ahead and take care of it. No sweat. Let's hold on. While you doing that, we can for real get the rest of that lamentation. Let's get Psalms 2 and 5.
Okay.
Get that while he taking care of that.
This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath.
They shall be speaking to his wrath, into his wrath. This is the Lord speaking unto his wrath. His wrath is allowing them to corrupt and murder Quawan Charles, absent any justice. That's like murdering a brother twice. If you murder someone and there's no justice involved in his murder, that's like a double murder. That's like a double jab and stab to the black community. Because we still don't get no justice. We know they murdered him. We know he was murdered. And we still don't get no justice. For for the regime, for the empire that we went and voted for. These people who we established an empire for, they love us broken and corrupt. Read on.
Come. Then shall he speak to them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure.
Vex them in his sore displeasure. That's how displeased the Lord is. That an innocent child has to be murdered in such a grievous and heinous way. Quawan has to be cut now. Imagine the fear of this child. He was picked up by his white friend and his mother. Somewhere along the road, along the route, his white father got in a car and he started terrorizing the child. Imagine how terrorized Quawan must have been looking into the steel blue eyes of this beast that started beating him, that started destroying his flesh, that started opening up his lips down to the flesh. The amount of blood and the fear the child must have felt, because nobody in this community was able to save him, because they had been lullabied to sleep that he was perfectly safe because white people picked him up. He's perfectly safe. Nothing could possibly happen to him. Even though we read on the news every damn day of a black person going to stay over a white person's house or slum house and they end up dead and don't nobody know them.
Okay. Verse 6. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion.
The Lord set his king. The Lord set a king. The Lord set a king. Because Negroes don't know who the hell to vote for. Vote. You ain't even done no research on who Kamala is. On who Joe Biden is. Joe Biden destroyed the entire black community from sea to shining sea with a crime bill that put into play quotas for police officers to make for damn sure that vulnerable black children went to prison, who he called predators. These predators, with, of course, a nice handshake from the preacher. You got that video?
Come.
All right, let's play the video.
Take back the streets.
It
doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one.
That he wrote, of course, was written with no empathy. You hear him removing the empathy.
Right.
It doesn't matter that we created them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter that they weren't socialized, that they didn't get what they needed as children, because we, as white society and white supremacy, remove the things that they needed to properly grow as a teenager or as a child and have self-esteem in their community. All that doesn't matter. Their crimes, I hate even talking about it, their crimes don't matter. You understand? This is them absolving themselves of the criminality that they've done in black communities. It doesn't matter that we put the dope there. It doesn't matter that we manipulated the preachers. It doesn't matter that we created the ghettos and the situations for you to destroy yourself. It does not matter that we remove all the opportunity and all the available profit and all the resources and allowed your community to dilapidate in crime and in murder. It doesn't matter what we did. It only matters that we need to protect ourselves from what has been created, from the predator. He used fear-mongering to allow the white community to fear crime coming out in their suburbs. The suburbs that they created by leaving the city and taking all the resources with them and allowing it to dilapidate and allowing no opportunity to funnel into this certain community. So what happened is it ate itself alive. He didn't give a damn. He wanted more carnage, more people arrested. He wanted more hurt, more terrorism, more pain. That's what Joe Biden wanted. This is the savior. This is saving us from Donald Trump. Go ahead, Matthew.
Like I said, he said it don't matter if you are a victim of society.
Right.
Go ahead.
They created the society that we're a victim of, so he's pretty much saying it don't matter that you're a victim of ours.
Come on now.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say. Wow. Go ahead. You got more?
And then the previous video, he doubled down on it just recent, and he said he do not feel bad about that. He stands by that.
Right. So he didn't change. He did not change.
Right.
He stands by the conduct that he called.
Hold on, sir.
Shit.
They don't believe shit I say. They don't believe Matazabah. I don't know. Matazabah, no. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody believe shit I say.
Man, that's heavy.
You had something?
Live, so he nailed it. I don't need to
Any questions, anything on line?
Live, sir.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the class down, man.
You want the rest of the video? It's only 3 minutes.
Go ahead.
Come.
Turn it up.
There's a consensus on that.
All the way up, so
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. I'm the guy that said, rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. It's a shame, but we don't know how to rehabilitate. But there is a consensus, and I will cease. A, we must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malfactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they've become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, try to change their behavior. That's why we do in this bill. We have drug treatment and we have other treatments to try to deal with it. But they are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exist. And we must deal with that.
That's tough.
He doubled down on, I don't turn it off.
I did. I think it's a time lapse.
He doubled down on, he doesn't care why any of this happened. All of this happened because you enacted the war on drugs. That's why all of this happened. That's why all of this happened. But you saying, we don't give a damn that we created this. So what? Why? Because the black radicals were saying, you created the issue, you created the problem. Now you want to punish the victims of the problem? He's telling white people, this is not to us. This is the message to white people who were thinking, well, yeah, we did create the problem. We should have a little bit of mercy on. He's saying, I don't give a damn how the problem was created. The problem is here. And we don't want it spreading out to our homes, to the birds, to our communities. So we're going to enact this aggressive crime bill. And what did it do? Years later, it drove up the murder rate. It drove up the crime rate. It put more dope in black communities than ever before. Our children have been mishandled. There have been crimes done against our children, generation after generation after generation. I implore you, black man, I ask you this. Let's repair those bands. The bands that they talk about in Psalms 2 and 2. Let's repair those bands. Let's repair the relationships that we have with each other. Let's repair the true spirit of brotherhood we have with each other. Then we don't need these bastards in our neighborhoods.
Right.
I got to go, y'all. I honestly, for real, I know what else to say, but I don't want to say it. Because Commanding General Yohana gonna bust my ring, and I ain't gonna be able to speak to y'all again. So, I'm gonna turn the class over. You know what I'm saying? Big homie, big priest.
Right.
Understand? Officer of 1,000, Mataza Ba.
Come.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. The rules for brothers and sisters: when a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi 3, verse 8 through 10 means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced Mayashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations, man, just keep your ears open. Stay in contact with the captains of your city, in regards to Passover. You feel me? December 9th, we do have Hanukkah coming up, you feel me? So stay tuned and prepare for that. Remind Akim and Akwathium to check on social media, such as Isupkbmore.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for Isupkbmore events and materials. If a brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he has to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, Men of Israel, Mad Shabbat, Mad Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Rakdah. Danny Matar, class dismissed.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and Christ, and fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
Trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm and blues for this guitar smoke. Rapping with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit.